Hello everyone, today I'm showing you how to make rice wine. This rice wine can be used as dessert, can be used for drinking and for cooking, and it is gluten-free. So to make the wine we need 3 ingredients. 1 piece of this Shanghai Rice wine yeast needs to be smashed into powder. Leave the powdered wine yeast on the side, and then rice is the next main thing we need. Steamed cooled rice to about room temperature, and then cooled boiling water as well. I have about 250 ml of hot water here, which I'm leaving there to cool. So pour the rice into the container. I'm using straight away the one that I'm going to make the wine in with. So this container needs to be completely oil-free and then dried as well. So the rice needs to be cooled down to about 35 degrees. So then I poured half of the cooled boiled water in the rice, and I'm using a spoon, but you can use your fingers with gloves on, just to make sure to crumble up the rice into grains, and also soak up all this liquid as well into the rice. And this liquid will be your wine once it's done. Break up as much as you can, and then we'll use the rest of the water mix into the wine yeast powder, and then we'll do a bit more of the mixing and then breaking up the lumps of rice. So mix it all up with water, give it a stir. We now pour the mixture of wine, yeast and water over the rice. Use your spoon or fingers, whichever you are using. Give it a good mix until it's all mixed evenly. If you see lumps of rice still, break them up. The whole process will take about a minute or 2 until it's all done. Just judge as it is. But if you do have some lumps, don't worry about it. I'm sure they'll be fine. I'd like to talk about the rice and then the wine yeast I'm using in this rice wine making process. And the choice of rice, the priority would be long or short grain glutinous rice. If you can't find them, you can use Japanese sushi rice. The last resort would be just standard long grain rice. They will all be able to make it into wines. However, just there's a flavor will be slightly different because the glutinous rice gives extra sweetness, and also the texture of the rice will taste different as well if you're eating it as a dessert like I would do at home when it's first made. So it's nice and sweet and has the bite into the rice as well. As for the yeast, you can find them in most of the Oriental shops. There can be different brands, but they make the same job. And the instructions there will be available in the packaging. The packaging will be in Chinese, so ask the shop owner where it is and ask them to translate to you the instructions as well. I'm sure it's quite simple, easily done as well. So scrape down all the rice that's escaped on the side of the bowl and mix it down and press it down nice and flat and nice and clean. So this rice, once it becomes wine, will become one big piece. They all stuck together. And then finally, we need to make a hole in the middle of this rice cake. Just just use the back of the spoon to push the rice to the side and then to make a hole. And this is also called a wine well, wine hole. So when the wine comes out, when it's ready, you will see this hole is filled with rice wine, and it should be nice and clear. Okay, so the preparation is ready, and we need to keep the rice in a warm environment. So in the summertime, in the kitchen, room temperature is fine, and now it's cold in the winter, so I'm going to put it into the boiler room on the top of the floor. That's about nearly 30 degrees in there, so I've got a layer of foil in between the lid and the bowl itself, so it keeps extra warmth. Cover it up. So 24 hours later, I have this sweet rice wine I'm using as dessert to cook it into a sweet soup with egg or glutinous rice balls. To make it into cooking rice wine, we need to add another liter of the cold boiling water into this container and let it ferment for another week before you can drain it out into cooking wine.